Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, sloths of all sizes. We are here today on the upper bracket final of PEW versus Hooye Polucky. And I'm joined here by who's at school still, who have just casted the fantastic series between Xenon and Disgusting. Obviously the loser of this match will go against them in the lower bracket final. But PEW versus Hooye Polucky, what a series this is due to be.
Well, it's going to be a fairly interesting one. I think we can be quite surprised by Hooye Polucky. They finished 6th place in the regular season, and now they performed an amazing group stage and finished 1st place, so they are in the upper bracket final. And they are facing PEW, which is the team which went 1st place and through the group stage as well.
Just as I deserve.
Any problems, and there we have a huge gift coming in from Mixin88. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, thank you very much for the continued support of
just as I deserve.
Many subscribes right now. That's fantastic stuff. But yeah, as we look at this game, these teams have come up before, but obviously they were in separate groups.
Yes, just as I deserve.
Thank you once again. This is a train of subs right now. That's lovely to see. This is obviously the final here.
Yes, just as I deserve.
Oh, this might take a while.
many gifted subs. I've just seen. This is the upper bracket. Final.
Just
both teams
as I
coming
deserve.
through here. Top of their groups. Both teams winning all their group stage matches, but they have played once before, and it was a 2-1 match. So this could well be a very close series between the two teams.
Just as I deserve.
Now, one thing that is to be noted is that we've got a couple of the map had Battlefield Eternity already banned out, which was a big favorite of Hooye Polucky. And
yeah, they love to play this map, Volskaya, and they actually have a 100% win rate, but so does PEW. And we see actually interesting bans coming in, as Mythic is going to be banned, as well as Deathwing, who might still have some value on Volskaya, but is currently dropping out of the meta. So kind of surprised by this ban, but they might have their thoughts
just as I deserve.
And the Zul banned out by PEW. Now, this has been a crucial thing that has been up and coming in the meta since his little buff, since his little rework.
Just as I deserve.
In those rotational maps where, Volsky is one of those. If you've got that top mid rotation, it's very impactful to have Zul. I'm not surprised to see it banned out here.
Just as I deserve.
Yeah, okay, so meanwhile, while all these subs come in, thank you very much again to Mixin, and Penelope actually came back here. So we have interesting choices in heroes. So Anna is banned out, as both teams actually love to play him. It's gonna be first pick for Hooye Polucky, and they love to play the Johanna, they love to play ETC, Malfurion is available as well, and they do have the fair shot at Sylvanas. But this all might change to Volskaya Foundry. As we know, this map is all about zoning control, and we actually see the Zarya first pick here, who made an appearance in the lower bracket semi-final as well. So what do you think about the Zarya pick?
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of little side matter at the moment where there's these shielding heroes like Zarya and Tyrael who just can provide that extra little bit of survivability. Zarya, has not had any changes for a long time particularly, and apart from that slight buff that she had for a couple of talents, it just means that having that extra bit of survivability means you can play that extra bit aggressively and maybe pick off some of those heroes like a Malfurion who can be a little bit squishy on the side.
Yeah, we know that, but we usually saw the Zarya very often combined with the Garrosh because of that speed shield. So Garrosh can run into the backline and throw a target, being cleansed all the time there as well. So we see the Garrosh taken from the other side to maybe negate that combination, and the Malfurion giving the follow-up route to any throw the Garrosh might give them. So we actually see the answer with a very mobile hero in the Tyrael. We know that Tyrael is pretty good against that Garrosh. Reyna as well, as he can disengage against the Garrosh with his Q as well once he tries to come in there. And so shields, non-stop shields basically for the side of PEW here.
Yeah, they're just having that as we sort of already said, the additional bit of survivability. But the Malfurion Garrosh, that's a pick-off comp right there. You know, they're saying they're going to throw and they're going to root, and they don't want to see a Deckard Cain apparently. I mean, is that a hero that you know, Hype PEW are sort of always going to be playing?
Well, it's not in their favorite roster, but I think on Sky Foundry, Deckard Cain has exceptionally great value with his huge triangles, that root area. He's very good at zoning control. And so they maybe get rid of him just for that. And we know that he can heal basically a target that gets thrown if he don't miss his potions. So yeah, we see the Rexxar ban on the other side, which is kind of a hero for Hooye Polucky. They love to play him, and Rexxar does have a lot of value on Sky Foundry. So not surprised that he's gonna ban out here.
Now, there was that big hero last game that had a lot of impact, and that was Leoric. And Leoric still can do well on Volsky Foundry. Has that sort of double wave clear potential to just clean up some of the side lanes as well. So I wonder if they'll sort of look to go into that here on Volskaya.
Well, you called it, and there you see him. Leoric, Janitor Leoric, by the way, coming in here for the side of Hooye Polucky, and together with the Sylvanas, who would provide a lot of bonus damage to Siege. Once they do get the Protector, or even between the five.
Now, it's just the support pick and the offlane pick now for Hype PEW, and Blank has shown before that they like to play Yrel, but that might have been a matchup sort of thing. I'm not sure what their matchup is favoured here with Leoric. So MXD as well has shown a variety of supports, but we see a Sergeant Hammer Anduin. What a surprise here at school.
Yeah, I mean, you caught me off guard now, okay? I'm out. I mean, we know Blank loves to play these heroes that are somewhat of meta. We know he plays things like the Butcher, but that actually is a new one, even for me. I don't think I've seen this in the whole group stage series of the Mythic Championship.
Yeah, it's obviously maybe a little secret strat they've just pulled out to just they've only got to win 2 matches, and this is one of them. So yeah, I mean, the Leeming last pick to maybe try and counteract that hammer. You know, a little bit of that orb build, perhaps, to siege against it. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one if they get the rotations down with the hammer.
You called out an orb build Ming on the Mythic Championship. Would sound crazy to me. But, I mean, we saw Sergeant Hammer, so we know meta exists for a reason, of course, and usually it's Calamity build all the way, but well, Hammer is not meta, so why not go off meta in the build of the Li Ming as well? And that makes kind of a lot of sense.
Yeah, and they've got, and on the side of Hype PEW, they've got the Anduin to save those sort of throws that Garrosh could do. So I think, you know, it's obviously a planned out composition here by Hype PEW. The draft looks like they got everything they wanted. You know, they pick things fairly quickly and consistently, and it's a little bit funky, which usually means it's planned. Whereas I think, you know, on the side of Hooye Polucky, it's, you know, it looks like a solid comp in general, but has it got that sort of X factor that Hype PEW are pulling out here in this upper bracket final?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, just, you know, from the paper, we have Hype PEW in the favorite role here, but you never know what can happen. And again, as I said before, Hooye Polucky actually surprising us a lot in the playoffs so far. And yeah, let's see what they can do here. By the way, I mean, it's obviously because loading time seems to be a little bit longer this time. Well, both teams are not out. So this series is not like a knockout as we used to in the playoff knockout stage. So yeah, both teams will appear either way.
And it looks like we're heading into the game now. I'll pass it over to you and Sidonian.
Yeah, so here we are now into the game. It's match 1 of this series, and with me I now have Sidonian, but let's first of all introduce the players here. We have on the left side coming in Hype PEW with MXD on Anduin. We have Blank, Blaine the Sergeant Hammer. We have Halcyon on 4v1b on the TRL. We have GG's Vamp Groot on the Zarya, and Riku on the Reyna.
And hello again, I am back to introduce the red team in Hooye Polucky, I'm gonna call them. We have Garrosh played by the Wildcube, we have Li Ming played by Bolsher, we have Malfurion played by Dyler, Sylvanas played by Gore Rider, and Butsu playing Leoric.
Alright, so here we go. both teams being really careful. We immediately see no interest in a brawl or coming in from High PEW as they switch to the lanes already. We see Sergeant Hammer dealing with the bot lane. He's gonna deal with the Leoric, which is kind of like an interesting matchup to see, but I think Leoric might have some trouble in that as he can't get in range of the hammer without getting knocked down quite a bit of his health. So what do you think of the draft in general?
So, again, this hammer also was kind of curveball thrown in general. I have to see how they do, but the pull from MXD here, saving Swamp Root, but else a nice engage and try by the Wild Q. But in terms of draft, I think if they can get this hammer to work, I think it's going to be looking really, really strong. But I think this last pick, Li Ming, especially with the level 4 talent on the orb that got buffed quite a while ago, I think it's going to be really strong into the hammer. But yeah, support camp already picked up by High PEW, so they're taking some early advantages already.
Yeah, kind of a classic meta these days, you know, use the timing because it was like so common. But yeah, we see the problem with that. You don't have the turret yet that you should pick in the early stages of the game usually. So you can be invaded there, but it looks like Riku is dropping really low and it looks like they have to retreat from that camp for the moment. But they do have the support camp instead and they did not lose anyone. Quite a hit there taken by Blank, but so far he has not yet any problem.
Yeah, looks like High PEW they want to go in and contest this. Yeah, there we go. Gets thrown out. Camp secured by the Polucky here, and Swamp Root going solo, but looks like it's just going to be a disengage here. Can Rutsu get out though? He is going even low. Taljan goes in, tries to confirm the kill. He gets the kill and will be able to walk out.
The turret is saved by the Li Ming though. Biotic emitter, by the way, is used, so that switches a lot of the advantages that we have in the upcoming first fight around the Protector, because we have 2 turrets for Hooye Polucky and 0 turrets for the side of High PEW.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the heal camp was used there. Seems maybe have been a misclick of some sort, because there wasn't any like overhanging danger of anyone on the side of High PEW. So might have been a little bit of a misclick, but anyways, they look like they are still going. But yeah, double turret camp here in favor on the first point. I'm going to see how this is gonna span out. Who will get this first Protector?
Gonna be interesting to see. We see Halcyon being really aggressive as long as his jump is yet ready, so he has no problems with a garage throw. And now we actually looks like, yeah, we see the first percentages coming in for the team who does have the advantage with the double turret as well, but it looks like, well, we might not even see them contest this, although they try to go in there. We see an engage onto the Sylvanas, but on the other side, Tyrael gets thrown into the tower range of the side of Hooye Polucky, but it looks like they managed to keep the point for a moment. But where we see Sergeant Hammer sliding in with the map abuse here, coming in siege form, because he actually can move now, but he's especially moving on the trail there. That looked kind of funny.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what the Li Ming picks here. I think it's going to be Calamity. Yeah, there we go, Calamity. Even against the hammer, I think you just need to go Calamity. It's just the strongest build on her, but it, as talked about, it would have been funny to see her go the full orc build.
And we actually see a third turret coming in now for the side of Hooye Polucky. And they actually saw the hammer sliding in. He gets thrown, but gets pulled back immediately by the Anduin. But that's off cooldown now. So once the cooldown for the throw is there, there's no more saving the target that is caught out. But then we see 3 turrets played there. And Sylvanas with the Mercenary Queen. Look at these huge turrets. This is going to secure the first Protector, because they're going to stand there for a while.
Yeah, so turret with Sylvanas here, they deal around 42 damage each at this. Oh, the throw onto Riku. Root coming as well, but massive shields on his spell taking damage while you are going low. Nearly dying, but no one's
what
dead so
an answer to
far.
Garrosh is this, by the way? I mean, I think I've never seen that. You know, like, just double shield and get the heal on the target and he's gonna survive, even if it's called Reyna. Because there we see Sylvanas, by the way, coming in. She actually went for Unfurling Shadows. We have to mention that. But now it's gonna be interesting to see. We have overtime on the protector phase. There we see Garrosh with another stun. We see the poke down from the Li Ming. Halcyon has to be really careful as he's taken a lot of damage, and so did Blank, who really has to be careful with the positioning. We see the throw against Zarya, but Garrosh has to run himself, and now Zarya is on the run herself, but she can't escape. No, she does not, and Anduin is the next to fall there as well, and Reyna, as we see and we hear the pling, 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 that sound that every Li Ming player on the world loves when he gets the...
Yeah, so just saw that aggressive into the fray throw here by Garrosh, just securing the first reset on the Ming. And as we all know, Ming, who starts to get resets against a team that's already a little bit low, it's just insane just to see how much he puffed off there. Like, that could easily have been like even potentially 4 kills. But yeah, just instantly go down here and take the mid fort. The protector is still 40 seconds left, 50% HP, so they can potentially even still get this top fountain. It's usually the meta to go for with this first protector. The Skate is already basically dead.
Yeah, and it looks like they really actually get both, so they will get top fountain. Top wall is actually fallen as well. And mid fort, which is huge value from the first protector coming in here. Will they even be able to do more? It looks like it. Look at them go. Sylvanas with the negating of the tower and the siege damage from the Li Ming coming in there as well. And they dropped the fort halfway at the very least with it.
Oh, the expulsion, so nearly catching Garrosh off guard here, but not quite enough. So looks like they are 5-man up here from Hooye Polucky, so maybe they'll try to do something. Oh, recoup.
Leroy coming in, what an entomb, but saved with the leap of faith.
Yeah, so I think really Anduin is a really great pick here. He's good against Entomb, he's good against Garrosh. So we're coming to see at level 20. Do we see double pull if we go that far into the game?
Yeah, and we actually see them immediately showing no mercy at all, going for advantage after advantage, taking the Biotic at mid here. We have to talk like about the general match plan, and they try to take it down, and they will succeed with that. So Sylvanas trade value, I guess. We see the top fort falling down. Now they can try to escape, but we see Tyrael trying to find an engage there in the backline, and there we actually see Garrosh throwing a minion of himself into the way, but there we see an engage coming onto him with the light bomb, and it's gonna secure the kill, and we actually have a 3-2 kill count, but if we look building-wise, we see a huge advantage for Hooye Polucky.
And actually, we do see, even with these 2 buildings gone, the XP is quite even, and I guess that comes from that Hooye Polucky just... not Hooye Polucky, that High PEW, they just picked up these 2 kills while they were behind, getting that catch-up XP, and now they're pushing down top, so they want this fountain at least here, so they won't have that disadvantage during the next protector phase.
I mean, we have one thing to mention here as well, as Sergeant Hammer dropped down bot for 3/4 already. Leoric really having a lot of trouble to control that guy. And Blank showing the Sergeant Hammer value that we actually have here. He might get the fort here. Turning invisible there, but slowly starting to turn away now. He's gotta be seen.
Yeah, so as you can see, if Belcher, will he try to go some? Is this gonna be the entomb into Belcher here? No, looks like Blank is just smelling it and just backs off.
Ooh, Zarya in a lot of trouble. Things happening all over the map. Has to drop the turret just in time before she gets taunted and taken out by Sylvanas here. So far, it looks like kind of an easy game for Hooye Polucky, but I don't think this is decided yet. But yeah, what do you think could be the, talent spike for team High PEW? I'm afraid I don't see any real threat. Like, once level 10s are here, there's no real new value coming in beside the Sanctification, who could turn around team fights maybe. But what do you think can we expect now?
I actually think 13 here is sorta big for them. They got a lot of mobility in this. So there's sort of Justice on Tyrael, of really good into Garrosh. But there's an engage down here, trying to get the bot forts, get it, and looks like they'll get out. But yeah, as mentioned, Sword of Justice is really good into Garrosh because it's really hard to throw this Tyrael now. Unstoppable on Sire, so you're not going to be able to like catch her in the same way. And Giddy up on Reyna make him even harder to catch with the movement speed, so we might see Garrosh having a hard time getting these catches now.
I mean, if we talk just that scene that we just witnessed as well, like we see Sylvanas doing a huge W and wave, so getting the full value of her build, which is the Unfurling Shadows build, and we just saw 2 shields and 1 W of Anduin, and everybody was top health. So they really have a good answer to this damage that is coming in onto a thrown target or basically any targets if they hit more. Meanwhile, by the way, at the top, we do have a fairly better matchup for the Leoric against the Zarya. He's going to do fine there, but we see the first percentages coming in. And as long as Zarya can hold the point, she will be able to collect percentages. But now we see her taken away by the Entomb, and the rest of the team is just there in time to secure the kill. And that means we have another 5 against 4 situation for 30 more seconds.
Yeah, so we did see Zarya. She tried to walk away in time, but Ritsu just said, no, I'm gonna entomb you to give time for my team to come up and we can get this pick. But obviously 55% already in favor of PEW. 16 advantage, however, onto Hooye Polucky. So it's going to see how PEW are gonna deal with this now, because there's no way they're gonna reach 16 before this protector is there. And this protector can do a lot of damage if they decide to try and go for maybe a key here.
Yeah, well, actually, we saw them take the bot fort, so they will have advantage in the third protector phase as long as they can keep the bottom fort. But therefore, it's going to be necessary to really fight for this protector. Zarya is back alive, and there we see an engage coming in. Tyrael jumping just back in time. There now, it looks like well, if you look at by the way, if you look at turrets, we see 1 turret of damage for either side, and it's just a given protector. So maybe we were mistaken there, and it's not as important. But I think they're going to trouble from this.
Yes, and we do see they are just walking straight onto this top keep wall. However, 16 will be picked up momentarily for the side of PEW as long as they can just make sure they don't. Oh, that's Rico!
Whoa!
Destroyed! Sylvanas, how many stacks are she? 160 stacks on Sylvanas together with the protector. Just instantly demolishes Riku.
And well, this is looking like more trouble. This keep is gonna be down in seconds. Look at the siege damage together with the siege camp and the mercenary queen. Gonna deal a ton of damage to that keep, and it's dropping down. There it goes. I mean, like, if we talk damage-wise here, Riku, he was so far away from the enemy team. You'd think like he's in a safe spot, but nonetheless, he got taken out in seconds.
Yeah, I think he got hit by the wave from Sylvanas, and then she had her. Jump
what?
in
Excuse
here.
me? What is that? Well, maybe a little bit overly aggressive.
Did Sylvanas here forget that she took the armor reduction on 13 instead of the double jump?
But by the way, this could really cost deeply, as we see Garrosh probably fall in here to the damage. He tries to run, and he actually gets another W in, so he survives for the moment. He has no health regaining from the Malfurion on him, and they don't even try to save him there. They know they lost it. And now we see that is maybe like that slight window that PEW needed to come back into this game.
Yeah, there's still a level behind, they're still hugely behind on structures, but right now they got 40 seconds where they can basically do what they want because this character's dead, and we just see some through here. He just walks up to the towers, pops the shield. Now he got some energy on the Zarya, so yeah, full energy Zarya right now pushing in, and we do see the Zarya is basically full melee build actually.
Well, this is quite going deep, because meanwhile we do see huge waves coming to the 2-0 wave at the top, and Sylvanas gonna deal out a ton of damage. So far shields and heals can negate all of that. They try to get the bottom keep in retreat, but their core is kind of taking damage from 2 catapults so far, but it's gonna be dealt with the wave. So far no real pressure coming through the top lane. And they got half the keep, so, well, they do have an eye on top lane, basically throughout the next 5 to 10 minutes. And it might have been an idea to maybe go for the top fort to just negate a little bit of the pressure that is coming through the top lane here, but they decided to maybe drop down the bottom keep. Didn't achieve that, so I think they're looking in some more trouble now.
Yeah, I like the idea of going for the bottom. Oh, we see here Swamp Group just pumping the unstoppable, so while you can't throw him. Really important for him, they're not getting thrown. I think if anyone from the side of PEW gets picked right now, it can potentially be game. Especially if they get picked once Hooye Polucky here, they will hit 20. And they will be 20 before the next protector phase, where PEW will not. So
I mean, you say that, I'm not sure about that yet. They can basically get more experience because top lane is going to be available for them, and top lane is basically not soakable for the team of Hooye Polucky, because it's going to be pushed so far in, you can't go for that. And yeah, it's one level, but the Protector phase is still some time left. I think they could wait for that. So before, well, Protector phase will start, but I guess we're gonna see a 20 against 20 fight for it at the very.
Yeah, potentially, but we do see this huge wave gather top from side of HypePew as they are saying that we need this fight before 20. We are gonna go for your bottom keep and force no day back out when they get discovered. So great read here by Polucky. So yeah, but 20 is now secured by Polucky. 90 is not even hit yet from the side of HypePew. So and that top wave is actually gonna be the one pushing in here with their camp winning. But of course, now we have catapults coming in and. They are gonna try and they're gonna make sure that's what. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Sylvanas trade value.
And yeah, well, take a look at the turrets. I mean, those 3 guys that push through this lane all have biotic emitters. So they're gonna trade a fort here, but Hooye Polucky will have far more siege damage and come through the keep wall here, and this Protector is gonna mean game nonetheless, so we're gonna have to see a fight for that. And yes, you said it's still half a level, and it's actually gonna be really close. I thought they might do better in the experience way, but they had to go for the top fort instead. And so, yeah, it's gonna be close.
So yeah, we do see Swamp Groot, he's trying to just get that last smidgen of XP, but we do see him potentially getting picked up here. He can't go unstoppable, but he can unstoppable an Entomb that's coming in here. That's silence. And yeah. Oh, Core Rider just jumping all the way through here, popping the. Oh my.
What the kill on Zarya from Leeming, and look at all the Biotic emitters. There's no way they're gonna kill anything in that area. Instead, we see a team wipe. Instead, well, the only one missing is Blank on the hammer, but Jet Propulsion, no, excuse me, Jet Propulsion, I say the Repulsion from Leeming doing quite a lot of damage there, and it looks like these 4 men are gonna be enough. They just go through the fort with a little bit of negating damage, and it's gonna mean game 1 as this score is gonna drop in second.
So yeah, so that was, again, Polucky here, they just came in, they got some advantage early, and just in tune for the last kill here, rubbing salt in the wound of HypePew, but super strong performance here from the side of Polucky, 11-2 in kills, and I think they got every single Protector as well, so dominant map performance by them.
Well,
all right,
what a
and we're back here
fantastic
with
game
Transparent. What a game 1 did we see there? Oh boy.
It was fantastic to watch. I mean, you know, there obviously were some strategies that HypePew were trying to do, but Hooye Polucky was just so good at just, you know, playing a standard game, getting it dominant, you know, finding the picks. It was beautiful to watch.
It looks like we did have kind of a bug with the statistics, so we can't really check them. But to be fair, I don't think there's too much to check in the numbers here, because we just saw like maybe a Sergeant Hammer gone wrong. What do you think?
I mean, it's one of those things that it's such a different way of playing the game that you've got to know your rotations, and the rotations are just so much slower with Sergeant Hammer that, you know, even if you've practiced it, if the enemy team just find those chinks in the armor, it falls apart pretty quickly. You're able to get that snowball potential, which they almost did, sort of getting a couple of kills in the late game there, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out in the end. Maybe they'll come back with a reverse sweep here, but who knows? It's you know, they were 2-1 last time they played Hooye Polucky. So maybe they can pull back 2 more maps against them. HypePew have a lot to keep up here.
Yeah, I mean, we know that HypePew do have a lot of strategies in their bag, so they're not counted out by any means. They can surprise with uncommon strategies, with unseen strategies, with basically anything. We might see the Butcher comp coming in for them as well. We know that they do very well on that. So yeah, gonna be quite interesting to see here what's gonna happen.
HypePew have gone for that first pick choice, so they're feeling confident in themselves that that's where they want to be in the draft. Obviously, we've had a few maps banned out, like Sky Temple, Battlefield of Eternity as well. Ultrac Pass is all banned out, and Garden of Terror. So these large maps mostly banned out. But so with Volskaya being picked by Hooye Polucky, maybe we'll see. Cursed Hollow is their next favorite. Tomb of the Spider Queen is another big favorite, but it's also a favorite of HypePew. So it's going to be a hard choice here.
Tomb is actually, yeah, we know that HyperPure loves to pick it, and but there's one thing. I mean, throughout the regular season, the most picked maps from HyperPure were actually Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen from the regular season. Just speaking of the regular season here, and these are actually the ones where they lost games. So they didn't perform too well on these maps, especially having trouble on Shrines. So I think we might see one of these two maps coming up here now.
Yeah, it is indeed Cursed Hollow. It's being picked now. You know, I think it's one of those things that when you pick a map, it's obviously you've got to feel comfortable knowing you've got second pick. And I think sometimes in these top tier plays, when you've got that first pick, you can guarantee that hero that's a real problem hero, like Anna, like Zul at the moment, maybe the Reyna, Johanna as well, a very impactful hero, or Garrosh. There's these really key heroes that sometimes your strategy revolves around, and having first pick can make all the difference.
Yeah. So what did you think of the answer they had against like the Garrosh idea in the first match? Like going with the Reyna, going with double shields, going with the mobile heroes. It all didn't help in the end. And they just faced this huge burst coming in from Li Ming and Unfurling Shadows build from Sylvanas. Do you think like they have to find an answer for that?
I don't think they're going to look for an answer, if I'm honest. I think they've come in, and I think they've got confidence in themselves. That's the thing. Perhaps they're just thinking we just executed that. Maybe we've still got, you've got to hold up with your strategies sometimes, and perhaps they're just thinking we've got to shore up a little bit here and there with a couple of our rotations. They are playing with a substitute player. Unfortunately, they were planning, I think, on playing with a different substitute player today, but. Unfortunately, the current events of an illness maybe took over there, so they're playing with Swampgrotter instead of their normal substitute that they've played with through the group stages. So maybe that's sort of little bit of a chink in their armor just showing. I did ask Halcyon from HypePew what was his thoughts going into this game, and he said, "You know what? I've got no tips and words. I'm just focusing on performing." So maybe that's what they're going to look for. They're just going to focus on performing here on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, so talk about Cursed Hollow a little bit more. I think we do have that global advantage kicking in here for the first time, actually, in the games at least that I covered. Shrines, usually, well, it's a big map, but it's not all about the globals in general, as it's more about the team strategy and the Shrine clear. But Cursed Hollow for sure is one, so we might see Fault Stats and the Hackers coming in here. What do you think about the global thing here of this map?
Yeah, global hero is very important. The lanes are so widespread that you really need to sort of think about individual lanes. You can't have a big snowball comp unless you're really trying to cheese something out. The Sergeant Hammer could be picked up again in sort of a little 3-man trying to push a boss lane and maybe picking up an early boss, but it's widely regarded as a bit of a cheese strategy, I think. So they maybe play something more standard. A little bit of a wait and see, I must admit. It's trying to do these Sergeant Hammer comps is so much different to the regular play. You have to be confident with them. But if they picked it up in game 1, maybe we'll see it again here in game 2.
Yeah, so let's just wait and see. We actually entered the draft. It's 1-0 for Hooye Polucky. So really, it's gonna be interesting to see if HyperPew finds an answer here. Will they go for more standard plays? I don't think it's really up in their roster, so they really hardly ever go for standard team comps. And yeah, you said before we might see a Sergeant Hammer coming in again. I would doubt that, just depending on like the what we just witnessed, what happened in the first game. But they'd be up for surprise. Question for me, number one, is like, do we see another Butcher come as we saw in the groups?
It's I think Butcher's one of those heroes that you've got to be very confident that you're going to beat the enemy team, and maybe it's sort of something that you just try and push out there to say, like, we want to, we know how to execute this, and it will be easy to execute against these teams. I think doing against some of the top teams maybe might be a bit tricky. I know there's all the Div 1 teams are very good, but sometimes these top 2 that we've got here right now might pull out some of these strategies. But we see the Lost Vikings banned out by HypePew, so they definitely don't want any sort of cheese coming out from Hooye Polucky.
And I mean, that gives another... We know that Vikings is one of a standard counter to a certain hero that suddenly comes up to my mind. We know that usually once you go for an Abathur comp, the answer very often is just go Vikings and destroy in the 4-man. And yeah, you can baby. I mean, we might see an Abathur coming in here if he doesn't get banned out. We have Deathwing banned first here. Kind of interesting for me. I know he's kind of a global as well and still has some value, but I think these days with the Cursed Bullet, Deathwing doesn't have that much value, especially on the higher levels of gaming. But apparently, I'm wrong with that.
I think the Deathwing just has that extra element of being unable to control him. You know, you've got to play to his game because of the unstoppable amount. You know, you can put as much damage as you want into him, but if he slips out, he slips away. You can't stop him. So getting rid of him is just one of those heroes that you're like, right, we're done. We're not dealing with that. Go away. And the Medivh banned out by Hype Pew Pew. You know, that's another hero that people just don't want to deal with. It's almost all the annoying heroes banned out here right now.
And there we see the Abathur ban. So actually, quite of a good call for me, if I may say that myself. So yeah, it may be the idea that I planned, and at least Hooye Polucky thought the same way, apparently.
So Sylvana's first pick here by Hype Pew Pew. Maybe, you know, it's a power hero that Hooye Polucky picked up last time.
Yeah,
so now...
we saw Sylvana's performing amazingly well with the Unfurling Shadows build. So basically probably negating it more to the enemy than really have an Sylvana's idea themselves. And there they go with Ana and Li Ming. Deadly combo on itself already.
Yeah, it's that big, you know, standard 1-2 pick almost. You know, if you can get both of them, you're winning. Ana being such an impactful hero in Division 1. You know, I think there was an enormous win rate that was perhaps not the exact statistics on the draft day, but he's still a hugely powerful hero. The fact that you're able to negate all healing after a sleep means that blowing up one target is very easy to do. But to combat that, there's Tyrael's Sanctification and Greymane.
Yeah, so that leaves a lot of ideas open. Greymane for good camp clear, which is very much needed on Cursed Hollow as well. We know that you want these camps cleared very fast. We have a 4-1 record, by the way, on Dyla playing the Ana. But I think that's basically the same for every Ana player out there. As you said, she's so impactful. We see the Zeratul band out here, which could be quite a danger to the Ana or a Li Ming in the backline. So get rid of that. And what answers do you think like Hype Pew has to that combo still up their sleeve?
So it depends. ETC is still available, and there's an old strategy where you go for like an ETC stage dive into the backline onto the Ana, as well as some dive heroes as well, and that Ana just can't do anything apart from perhaps try and do a nano boost on the Ming. You know, just trying these enormous dive comps from all over the place could be something they're going with. And with the Grosh banned out, you know, maybe they're trying to bait the enemy team into a Johanna.
Well, Johanna, like you want to bait her in? No, we see the ETC immediately picked from the other side. So there's one counter that you just mentioned gone. I would have loved to see the global stage dive offlane ETC for the side of Hype Pew Pew. I think that would have been quite a great idea for that. But that's gone for the moment. On the other side, we know that if you go ETC main tank, you struggle like at least one thing. That cow can be melted down pretty quickly, especially from a Cursed Bullet Greymane. So that might be an idea. We have the interrupts for the Mosh with the Wailing Arrow already. Tyrael not too good at interrupting that, so Sylvanas probably has to be careful with positioning. And we see Thrall, in addition to that, just follow-up route for any stun from the ETC. And the burst from Li Ming with the Ana coming on top of that might be threatful.
Yeah, we've obviously got these last picks, and there's the Butcher, as you suspected, with a Lucio of all things. That's an incredible comp here from Hype Pew Pew. I mean, that's a comp I really want to watch this game, just to watch. You were calling out the Butcher earlier, and I was saying, you know, I think it's just, you know, a bit of a meme draft, but they are in love with this Butcher.
Yes, they are. We know Blank loves to play him, and to be honest with you, I saw a game of Hype Pew Pew against Team Xenon, which we know do have a favorite role for the Mythic Championship in general. They went for the Butcher, and I saw Xenon just getting absolutely destroyed by the Butcher pick. And there we see an answer coming in with Cassia. I think that's something you have to do. You have to react to the Butcher. Cassia is kind of out of meta, but if the enemy goes out of meta as well, you have to react going in out of meta yourself, and Cassia is a perfect answer to that. She can blind the Butcher, and that creates a lot of value.
Yeah, what a draft we've got here between PEW and Hooye Polucky. If you like one of these teams' drafts, if you prefer them, get your bets in on the chat for your points. You've got a bet A and then a number for PEW and bet B for Hooye Polucky. You know, if you're wanting for that counter draft, if you've got that Cassia and the Anna Li Ming combo as your favorites, get your bets in for Hooye Polucky. But if you want to see the Butcher succeed, go for that bet A on PEW. I know I want to see this Lucio win, if I'm honest. Love a good Lucio and would love to play it more in the next season of Lounge myself. Who are you favouring
He's
here?
kind of a very mobile hero, giving the Butcher that extra bonus movement speed maybe when he needs it, coming in with the sound barrier once he charged too far in and has to survive against Li Ming. Can give you the clutch time.
And I will hand over to you and Sardonia for this cast here. Mythic Championship upper bracket final.
Yeah, and here we are back again. It's game number 2 coming in. For you, we have the best of 3 series in the upper bracket final. The winner of this series will go directly to the grand final. So let's see what game 2 brings up for us. We have PEW being 0-1 down, coming in with Riku on Sylvanas. We have Halcyon 4v1b on Tyrael. MXD playing the Lucio. We have Blank on the Butcher and GGS Vamp Brute on the Greymane.
And on the right side in red, we do have Polucky. We do have the Wild Cube on ETC. We have Belshire playing Kasha. Troll is played by Rutsu. Anna played by Tyler. And Gore Rider this time on Li Ming.
Okay, so we have level 1 talents coming in, by the way. We have Block Party immediately taken, which is not too surprising against a Butcher comp, and especially against the Greymane, creating extra value. So what do you think of the draft?
So, I was really excited when I saw the Butcher pick, but then I saw this Kasha pick, and I kind of loved it, because there are actually 3 people benefiting a lot from AAs on the side of PEW, but they're going for a gank here on the Troll top lane, so if he steps up, he is dead. He might just have smelled something was wrong. But yeah, this Kasha, I think he's going to get massive value here on this blind.
We see still only a 2-man engage onto the Thrall, and he's going to take a lot of damage just from Lucio and Blank on the Butcher here. But yeah, you talked about the counter coming in from Cassia. We know that like the Butcher, especially the way Blank plays him, it's not only about his auto attacks doing a ton of damage, it's also very much about the crowd control that he achieves, that called out target with the charge. He basically can run, well, through half a map, especially even on Cursed Hollows. But yeah, so far it's going to be interesting to see if the answer in the meaning of Cassia, ETC, who is strong against that as well, especially with the block party, that's going to be enough or not.
One thing I also really like here, with this Butcher, you have the Tyrael. So even if there's a blind, if there's a Sang on top of Butcher, the blind doesn't do anything. As you mentioned, the CC, especially at level 10, Lamb to the Slaughter, is going to come in. That's going to be massive for him. And if he lands that on basically anyone on the side of Polucky, they can burst that target down with a Curse Bullet instantly.
And we see an aggressive attempt on the enemy Bruiser camp from Hooye Polucky actually coming in here. Gonna be maybe spotted. Well, they're gonna take some time with that. Li Ming is not too good with the camp clear there, and they have to have an eye on that, but it looks like it's gonna be unspotted here.
Yeah, and this is also a really great reaction general from Polucky, because they know that they're gonna put a lot of focus on top on this Butcher, and we do see we have 2 people up there, and another camp is taken. 4 people even coming up here. They really want to kill this Troll to give Butcher some meat.
Oh, and there they go in, they try it, Thrall is on the run, but there we come with the 4-man, and they will actually try to secure the kill, and they will do so. Lucio is gonna help with the escape. The camp is actually pushed. We see Li Ming actually coming in from the side. She's getting rid of the siege camp first, and now she has to be careful. Butcher himself having the unrelenting pursuit, so he's probably having his E ready again.
Meanwhile, in bot lane, we do see the tribute here is spawning. Troll is alive again, but he's gonna be down there just at around the same time as Blank and Swamp Brute, so it's gonna be fairly even. Can Riku interrupt this? Go right, goes in note. It's already been secured by Bolshia. So first tribute going over to the side of Polucky, but they already
Q just barely escaping an engage there, and well, it doesn't look like much. You might think like, okay, well, ETC just barely escaping there. They got lucky, but this is actually huge value because the longer it takes for Butcher to finish this quest, the far more they can actually go ahead. But we have to mention the top fort already fallen for the side of Hooye Polucky. And meanwhile, they try to apply some pressure on the bot lane. With the Sylvanas and the Greymane, they have huge siege damage coming in. And they are already like kind of rotating in a 5-man and actually still are ahead in experience.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the siege damage, I think this is something we're gonna see like throughout the entire game. If they can somehow bait Hooye Polucky out on one side of the map, they can just punish them on the other side. Especially on a map as big as this, so really like how they're playing this draft so far. As you see, they just rotate in mid, and now, yeah, they take the gate in there as well.
Again, 1 tower down, 2 towers down, wall almost down, and bottom lane wall is down, so they have really big advantage on that perspective. But in the end, it's still gonna matter a lot about how the team fights will go, and they will have to go for tributes at some point, and they try to take this, who is in a good spot for the team of PEW, but it looks like it's gonna be challenged either way. They know they have to take all the early tributes, as many as they can.
Yeah, I think if PEW can just get one of these early tributes, it's gonna be massive for them because they're gonna have a lot of problems in team fights until Butcher is stacked. So they're just trying to stall this. Maybe they can find a pick to see Butcher. He's in mid lane stacking right now. It's a 4v5 technically up on this point, but PEW, they are holding on and potentially look like pushing Hooye Polucky a little bit back here away from actually channeling.
What an interesting stall and kind of see here. Both teams really being careful. There we see the orb coming through, so there's another interrupt. Lucio is trying to catch this again, but again catching just another orb. Cassia with another interrupt, and they start to drop really low. Now Lucio is coming in with another heal, and they try to interrupt themselves. Interesting situation, and we see actually Butcher going again for more meat in the mid lane and trying to apply some pressure. Now he goes through the bot lane together with the Sylvanas, and they might use this time to catch down the fort.
Yeah, so again here, they just know they need to stall, and also they're a level ahead right now already, so potential next tribute, they can be 10, they can force that, get one of those early tributes, and will you see a boss attempt here already from them?
And an immediate reaction, and that is telling you so much about like what is with macro in this game. It's so important to be aware of what the enemy does. They go for the boss themselves, and we're gonna have a trade for bosses. And if we look at the buildings, we already know that we will have more advantage for PEW coming in with this boss as it will go towards the keep together with already quite a big lane.
Yeah, and what we see here, so I think PEW here, they want to fight for this tribute. They're like, okay, so they have a boss pushing in against our top fort that still has a wall, but our boss is gonna go against the keep, so Hooye Polucky, they need to stop this boss. Also 10 is secure, so Hooye Polucky have no way to fight for this tribute at all.
And we actually see them even go for the Bruiser camp because we know that they have to be busy, and they just defend this boss one man with Greymane, who's gonna do an excellent job with that. And yeah, still more meat for the Butcher. He's sitting at half through his quest, leaving a little bit more. Shots were blocked. Repulsion just going for another, wave of force, going with another interrupt, and they try to buy themselves the time. They really want this third tribute, as it could be their way into this game. They really need a curse or something like that. And it looks like they can stall enough time. They have level 10 themselves. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight to see, as we do see maybe kind of a 5 against 5 coming up here. Butcher not yet finished with his quest, so advantage Hooye Polucky, you gotta think. There we see an engage coming onto the Li Ming, and she gets erased. Boom, down you go, more meat and a kill, and they try to go for it. There we see an Mosh just to maybe save himself, but it's not gonna help a lot. Just Sylvanas going in for a quick dance as well before the ETC stops singing and goes down.
Yeah, we see this fight. Butcher just started this fight on a round, a little over 100 stacks of meat. He's on 163 now, so they're securing this mid fort. Now they're gonna get the tribute. Butcher's really close to getting stacked, so PEW, this Butcher comp is just coming in so strong right now. And as you was talking about that CC getting secured by Butcher, he lands the stun on Li Ming, he lands the Lamb to the Slaughter on Li Ming, and she's just exploded and just opened a team fight. Sylvanas nearly died as well, but Riku just managed to sneak out from certain death, and yeah, but
That is very aggressive here. They immediately go in with the 5-man because they saw Butcher top, Sylvanas is at the bot lane, and they managed to steal that camp. Good call here for the side of Polucky.
I think both teams made that the right call here. Like, Hooye Polucky goes in and take that aggressive invade when they see that the team is split, but also we do see the response really fast from PEW, just saying, okay, we're gonna give this up. We don't need to risk it. We're so far ahead right now. There's no reason for us to potentially lose a team fight over a camp. Next tribute spawning. This one is sorta important still. It's not cursed for what they call PEW, but it could be a curse from Hooye Polucky, but there's level 13 advantage right now.
I think the positioning of this tribute is kind of horrible for Polucky, so they don't really go for this. It's in the narrowest spot all over the map, maybe, and it's on the side of PEW, so they give this up right away. And we have a 2-2 situation. ETC in a little bit of a predicament. He's slowed for ages, but he can slide away, so he will not die this time.
I'm actually interested why Hooye Polucky didn't try and engage here onto the chase down, since they did know that someone was down channeling the tribute, so they knew that they were in a 5v4, and even with the 13 outside a 5-man advantage there is definitely something to reckon with. Then here they are in the siege camp, but the PEW are coming in, spotting it out as it's been stopped, and they will just say thank you, come again.
Yeah, if you just look at the map, it's a level disadvantage yet, so they can't really fight for the siege camp, but they have to relieve some of the pressure that they are actually facing. And so far it doesn't look like they are able to. We have still not yet the quest finished for the Butcher, so he's not yet completely out of control. But this tribute is gonna really be all about it, and they have to fight this, I guess. They will get 13 in the meantime. There it is, so it's on even talents. That's their time to fight. Will we see a good mosh, which actually could help them quite a lot? Will we see another good engage from the Butcher into the backline? If he's not challenged by that, and if he's not peeled and controlled away, they might lose the fight very fast.
Yeah, but so far none of the teams want to take the aggressive stance here. I can definitely understand. Look at that wave pushing down bot, so there is catapults coming. There's another one coming as well, so PEW, they're no rush here. They just want to stall this, really.
Yeah, will we see another interrupt? Yes, Tyrael is there. The will Q just immediately retaken it. We see him. No, an interrupt coming in from a cocktail. Li Ming trying to poke whatever she can, but Lucio is very well capable of just, negating all the poke damage. Even coming in more orbs, but this time the orb missed. Is this the time to fight? No, they're still not going in. Look at Butcher. I mean, he's just chilling there in the back line, and they wait for all the stuff. What the hell? What is that?
The wave was too slow, and the curse is secured.
What the hell was that?
Oh my. So PEW, they're looking at the boss right now, but I think it's something that
I mean, that might have been on purpose, but it looks like, yeah, it's spotted from the ETC, and there he slides away, and this time we see Sanctification and Lamb to the Slaughter taken onto the ETC, but he survives it actually, and now Cassia's coming in from the spike, but she gets herself in like kind of a predicament. We see them all engage on her, and she actually falls down, so that's the first to die. We see Nano Boost, and they're actually on the Li Ming, and she actually kills the ETC, the Tyrael here, so we have a 1-for-1 trade, but this is all during curse time for Hooye Polucky.
Yeah, so Hooye Polucky not really getting much out of that curse other than a 1-for-1 trade. Obviously, they're behind in XP, so 1-for-1s are in favor of them, but they basically waste the entire curse. And here comes Butcher. Hello, Trolls. How are you feeling? Gold Rider coming in now. So, ooh, the mosh on 2 people. Meanwhile, Swamp Good just eating the backline. So, they don't need the Butcher stack. They just need Swamp Good to go in and just basically just annihilate Anna.
We see Butcher collecting meat. He finished the quest by earlier, so he gets 3 stacks of more meat, and he's sitting at 230 right away, and that means a lot of trouble. Enemy boss is taken. They got quite a few damaged on the buildings here. They did have the top fort falling, bot fort is halfway through, but they actually go at 2 bosses at the same time because Butcher now is pumped, and he says nothing can stop me now.
Yeah, he has that self-sustain here. So he can take this boss solo most likely. And yeah, boss top secured and Butcher should be able to secure their own boss as well here. Taking like 1/3 of his HP in damage, no biggie. So it's gonna be interesting which boss will they push with. Probably their own, since
They
are
probably will
around
go
that.
with the bot one as it's on their lane. Like for future bosses, they can easily create a winning condition if they take down bottom keep with the
also-
bottom boss.
Also, Bloodkeep got no wall right now. It's already been deleted by the minion waves earlier when they were fighting around the
I
church.
call out a giving 0 Fs from the Butcher charge in once he has the opportunity. Once the boss is there, he's gonna give 0 Fs and just go in.
I'm just looking at Gold Rider here. When he's gonna pop, it's gonna happen. Blank's gonna pop him.
Come on, it looks like I'm mistaken on that call because they are kind of careful. They have the negation on the tower from Sylvanas and they're gonna get a lot of damage in there. Maybe Butcher is just going for level 20 call. No, he gets into the line of the slaughter. He catches actually the Cassia but doesn't follow through with it and charges instead onto the Thrall who gets rooted by the boss for another time, but he heals a lot and he actually survives. So nobody is killed in that time. Sanctification is there to save everyone on the side of High PEW and they actually finish down the ETC and the Cassia and the core in the matter of seconds. Excuse me. 1-all in the series. What a game. Whew. Transparent. Wow.
Wowee, that was quite the ending there. Just, you know, it just turned on a flip head after a curse for the red team, and then blue team take the fight. They just go straight there. What a finale for game number 2 here. We have a series here in our upper bracket final. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked. They just turned on the gas there, Heroes of School.
I mean, yeah, you have to be honest. If we take a look at the damage numbers, we actually see Butcher doing only 14,000 of hero damage, which is more like basically half the damage that Sylvanas did there, and or like Li Ming did way more damage than him. Cassia doing a lot of more damage than the Butcher, but nonetheless, I think this was the Butcher that we all wanted to see after we witnessed the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things. You don't need hero damage numbers if you just kill people straight away. I mean, the way they swapped targets with Lucio, it was. I mean, it was a symphony almost of just rotations onto different heroes. They go onto ETC and change to Cassia, beautifully done. And then the double boss play at the end. I mean, what sort of Heroes of the Storm is this that Hype PEW are pulling out? It is phenomenal, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's so lovely to see. Really, that inspires me quite a lot to see these uncommon strategies. You know, coming in with the Butcher, coming in with the Sergeant Hammer, and apparently, well, Sergeant Hammer didn't, but the Butcher still works for them so well. And I would love, like, you know, I'm gonna take my time probably to just go in and watch Blank playing the Butcher. Like in his perspective, you know, from his vision, watching a replay from that, I think it's going to give you so much value, because he can create Butcher value in basically any setup. And like, how hard was it in this setup to create value? You had ETC, you had Thrall, you had Cassia, you had Li Ming, who has a Calamity build who can blink away anytime she needs to. Well, if she's not silenced, which she was, but yeah. Amazing to witness that and see that, especially on that level of gaming.
Yeah, they've obviously got a plan now, maybe for game number 3 after pulling back the momentum. When you get something that's a Butcher and Lucio in, I mean, there's some players out there who really love that Lucio, and they really, you know, they're well known for that Lucio. And MXD just showed that, you know, maybe I can be one of those people too. And with Blank's Butcher, we're still waiting on map number 3 here. I mean, do you think there's any favourites that Hype PEW might pull out? Maybe they'll go for that Tomb of the Spider Queen.
They might do so, but still, I think there's one map which is very uncommonly picked. I don't actually know if it's banned or not, but Hype PEW are one of the very, very few teams who actually love to play on Garden of Terror. We might see this come in as well here.
No, it was indeed banned already. That
That's unfortunate.
Hooye, Polucky, they do not want to play on Garden of Terror. They themselves has picked it as well, so it's not like the teams don't know what they're doing, but it's just one of those maps that I think Butcher can also excel on again. It's a bit like Cursed Hollow, as people have said in the past, but it is indeed going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen, a wonderful small rotational map that maybe they'll see that Zul priority, maybe that Zarya once again. There's so many sort of juicy picks that you can have on Tomb, just because of the way that it's such a brawly map. I'm really loving this series so far here as a school.
How much do you bet now on a Butcher ban?
I don't know. I can't. I've not got all the stats of the Butcher pick, and I'm not sure if it's something that they only pick on some of the bigger maps. But it's certainly been a ban against them before, and maybe Hooye Polucky they'll just put a safe bet and just put a ban on.
I mean, maybe we can get the numbers in. I have to check with director here. Can we get the numbers in from Butcher on blank? I think he must have amazing numbers there, but maybe he didn't. Okay, so we have to wait until later. Maybe we're gonna have a look at that, but yeah, I think especially on Tomb of the Spider Queen, if he isn't a 4-man, he usually collects meat from 2 lanes. So he's quite dangerously fast with the baseline quest that he has there. Yeah, I think you either have a concrete answer, but what better answer could they have than they had in the game that we just witnessed? So I'm betting my money on a ban here.
Now, I like that Hype PEW just haven't pulled out anything that just screams meta. I think that's the thing that's beautiful in this series so far, is that, I mean, we've had the beautiful cups, we've had the Legendary Cup, the Epic Cup, and the Rare Cup, and they've all had sort of their own little meta where, we see some fairly standard heroes played, and just in this Division 1 Mythic Championship final, upper bracket final here, it's been beautiful to see these grand drafts where Butcher's included, Hammer and Zarya, they're sort of semi-standard, but it's nice to see a little bit of unique drafting here in this Mythic Championship.
And yeah, I think we don't have to forget it's a third game in the upper bracket final, and yeah, it's quite a big one. We know that the team is not knocked out in case you lose that series, but you do lose quite a value, and you're gonna face in the lower bracket finals against Team Xanon, who actually performed quite well today. So they will be quite a task for either of the teams who are gonna drop down there. And not only that, we know that in the best of 5 series in the grand final, I think the winner of the upper bracket final does have the advantage in the first game of having first pick and map pick. Isn't it like that?
Yeah, there will be an advantage certainly going into that grand final, and you don't have to play through this bottom series. And teams are always saying, it's quite tiring going through a lot of the maps. And unfortunately, that's sort of part of the thing of, being in the winner's bracket. You get a nice rest in between, and you get these sort of little advantages of a little bit of a break. Whereas having to go through another best of 3 series before a best of 5 grand final, it's something I'd like to just sit back and watch all the games, and that's unfortunately what I get to do. Play is certainly tough, but we're going to go straight into the draft here of Tomb of the Spider Queen. Here's the school. What are we expecting to be the bans?
Well, I still expect, to be honest with you, I still expect a Xul ban, nonetheless here. I may think that we might see Deathwing left open here for once. There are a lot of narrow paths where he can create a lot of value, he can create a lot of damage, but the global advantage of the Deathwing is basically taken out here. So you might see him left open here. On the other side, well, I'm still betting my money on the Butcher ban after what we saw in the first game here. Garrosh might be an idea to ban here as well, as he's basically a hero, had a lot of impact throughout the whole day here. And yeah, we might see ideas towards that.
One thing I don't think we're going to see is that Vikings ban. I think that was a Cursed Hollow ban, not needed here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, of course. But we see a Garrosh ban being that first ban for Hooye Polucky. Maybe they've got their own things in mind. Garrosh was fairly impactful against some of the heroes in the first game, so they've obviously got a tank that they want that isn't Garrosh.
All right, so Garrosh first ban, we called him out a little bit. I just have to mention like one thing because I'm amazed by that. We actually have 240 viewers here currently, and that already tells you a lot about what the series is all about. We have an amazing series, best of 3 played here, and I think it's given us a great idea of what we can witness in the grand final. So yeah, first of all, really amazed by that, and yeah, thanks to the viewers, I guess.
We see that Tyrael ban as well. Like Halcyon has been playing Tyrael for a long time. I think it was the first hero I ever saw him play on, and that was over a year ago now. It's obviously proved impactful in this upper bracket final as such an enabler for these heroes like Hammer, like the Butcher, and
yeah, especially with the Butcher, we know that he gives this bonus attack speed even if he wants to, and that benefited not only the Greyman, it also benefited a lot of the Butcher, obviously. So Tyrael taken out here makes some sense. We have the Johanna, which is a strong tank on Tomb of the Spider Queen, as she offers that what is mostly needed on Tomb of the Spider Queen, the wave clear here. And we see the answer coming in with the ETC pick pretty early here. But yeah, I bet my money wrong, by the way, with the Butcher ban. He's still available.
Is still available, and that Anna picked up as well. You know, ETC and Anna, very good at getting those quick pickoffs. So they're going to need a support that can maybe get a good cleanse in there. Because if you get a slide and the grenade, as I sort of already said in the last draft, it can be lights out for one hero very quickly. I wonder what sort of assassins they'll try and pick up with Hype PEW, but Hooye Polucky have got to pick up something to respond into this aggression here from Hype PEW.
We actually see them coming in here with the Leoric pick. Quite surprised by that. He's not. It's really uncommon to go for an early solo lane pick here. Tomb of the Spider Queen is not about winning the solo lane usually, so you can do that, but still it kind of catches me off guard here, together with the Sylvanas pick, which is going to be great with basically any web we were facing.
So one of the things with Leoric, I mean, the Janitor himself, is that he can clean up waves, and they do build up onto him, the Spider Queen, and especially post-objective. You know, if you need a hero that just can ignore the 4-man and clean up the waves, it's Leoric, and he can just wash it all away and make it all good. We've got some betting going on in the chat right now. We've got, if you think that the Hype PEW's draft is going so well right now, you can go for bet A and then some number. Or if you want Hooye Polukky's draft, which is looking to shape out quite nicely with this Leoric, then bet B.
We actually see an interesting bet coming out here. Jaina would have been awful together with the Anna and offered a lot of wave clear, which is basically what they need. And yeah, we probably would see them like if they go for the Anna Li Ming combo. So that's basically probably why they left this open. Butcher would still be available. We see first of all come in the Greyman in again. And what? What? Is this the upper bracket final or what? That's a frog. That's a frog right there for you coming in for Hype PEW.
They have pulled out the stops here to try and make sure they get that easy ride into the grand final. They've pulled out the Murky. Now, is this going to be a nano boost, nano infusion, level 20 Murky? I hope so, because it's beautiful to watch.
I mean, yeah, he's going to be unkillable. We see the answer coming in with Vala and Oriel. Vala is going to be able to deal with the frog there, but I mean, with the pufferfish, but what is the last invite? I mean, Blank hasn't even picked yet, and they already have a Murky. So I mean, we might see swaps there, but what's coming up next? I'm so excited, really. Come on.
So it might be a case of just trying to duel the Leoric, trading out the HP pools. Leoric does percentage damage, but from Murky, that's nothing. It's one of those strategies that maybe it's just the anti-Leoric strategy is having Murky, that inevitable push. No healing really available for Leoric. They've picked up the Junkrat as well at the end, so to have a little bit of a bonus damage, bonus wave clear there. There's not particularly a nano boost target, so maybe we will see a nano Murky. What a draft here. I mean, please get your bets in. I mean, I want to see this Murky win. I'm going to be betting all of my points on bet A. But what a draft here. This has been phenomenal already.
I mean, I'm honest. Like, what's the idea here? You have like an engaged tank, in ETC. You have basically no follow-up for that, and we have a very squishy backline behind that. So like Greymane being one of the more high hit points targets here, that tells you already how much. And yeah, we have this Murky pick. We have Junkrat to go for more the sustained pokey fights there, maybe set up something with Concussion Mine. But I mean, what a draft! What a draft this is. And I know, well, Leoric is gonna struggle against Murky on the solo lane, but is that enough?
I sure hope so. And it's going to be a beautiful game as I pass it over to you and Sugar for this last game of the upper bracket final.
And we're back. Game number 3 is on in this best of 3 series. Could there be any more hype? For me, it surely is not. And what better could we have for an exciting match like that than a Murky draft? Let's introduce the players. On the left side, we have PEW coming into the series with Riku on Greymane. We have Halcyon 4v1b on the ETC MXD. Playing the Ana, we have Blank on the Junkrat. And GG's Vamp Brute coming in with our little fish Murky here.
And on the right side in red, we do have Balshir playing Vala, we have the Valkyrie playing Johanna, Leoric played by Rutsu, and Sylvanas played by Gore Rider, and last but not least, we have Tyler playing Oriel.
I mean, I think we might have some stuff to talk about here, Sidonian. I mean, like, what's the idea? Tell me something here, please.
So I think Trans is right. I think it's gonna be a nano boosted Murky. Like it should be a spam boost. But all the power side comes in of Halcyon, but just double getting popped by Johanna. So nice attempt there, but not enough. But yeah, I guess. Does Murky win over the Oregon lane? I don't know.
I've just seen, like, I've just wanted to check because one of the things that you might have to take into account. Meanwhile, we see Oriel being isolated by a nice concussion mine. Slide is not yet ready, but there it is, and they actually get the kill against Oriel. So first blood for Team PEW. Yeah, one of the questions was like, how good is Leoric in dealing with the pufferfish? And I've just seen, like, if he has his third auto attack ready, he can deal with the pufferfish basically with just the auto attack, so he can destroy it. That's very important for him to see. And meanwhile, we see Gorite on the Sylvanas taken out by the Ana damage in the end, together with the Greymane. Nice start here for PEW coming in with the Murky setup.
Yeah, and again, as you mentioned, Leoric can deal with the pufferfish pretty easily. So it's really important, I think, here from the side of PEW to win this format, and they are doing so right now. As we see, both teams are looking towards this bottom camp here already, rotating a lot of people down here. Only Junkrat from PEW in the top side of the map, as looks like PEW will claim this bottom camp.
I'm actually surprised that we have that strong of an early game and early kills coming in here for PEW. I did not expect them. I expected them to play a slow game rather here. Meanwhile, we see Oriel isolated out again, but she actually can heal herself just in time. And now it's a 4 against 4 situation, but one of them is a frog. So basically it's 4 against 3.5. But it looks like these teams are gonna leave it like that and continue doing the wave clears and trying to soak it.
But one thing I like here from PEW is, like, they know they can just, they engage on the Auric, but they woke him up before the pufferfish can explode. That's a little bit sad to see, but nice trying anyways. But PEW, they can focus a lot on sending people down bot lane because they can just have Junkrat solo double soak right now. So I think they have a really, really strong setup here. Very can double soak as well, but Halcyon takes a lot of punishment.
I mean, one thing we have to mention here, while both of the teams are actually going for the Bruiser camp and gonna fight in the middle about clearing it faster, is the placement of the egg of the Murky here, who actually really went for the height of the Murky egg. So they basically all know that there must be an egg somewhere, and it's basically fairly accessible to the team of Hooye Polucky. But, you know, I guess Murky's just gonna react. If they destroy it, he's gonna stay safe until he can replace it, or just replace it in time. And he's gonna create just a little bit more vision with it.
Yeah, exactly. And vision can be key. Like, they can see rotation coming down. They can see if people try to turn in on the bottom side here. So they have a lot of control over the turn-in points here if they have Junkrat traps on the top side. And we do see Web Reavers are now secured from the side of PEW.
And one thing that chat actually is mentioning is there as well is the ability of Murky to stack his level 4 quest against this quest of Slime Team against Leoric. He's already sitting at 9 out of 20 stacks, and sometimes market players find it really difficult to land 2 Qs on one target. And he's going to do very fine with that.
Yeah, definitely. As we see, he's just going in, sliming, go out, already on 10 stacks here, as mentioned, so he's definitely going strong. And meanwhile, the weapons are pushing in here in the middle lane. The clear from Polucky is not amazing without the Vala, but she's top lane, so there'll definitely be a gate down here in the mid lane. Ooh, they have the Johanna, the Unstoppable coming in, potentially saving her. Yeah, definitely so. But nice try diving behind the turret here, actually. Oh!
What a play! What a play!
Mine into trap. Blank, you monster!
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh, what a play. I mean, we see, look where Murky is running around. I mean, he lost 12 gems there, but yeah, like one of the questions I would really want to ask here as well is, we did not see a real counter coming in against the Murky, which catches me a little bit off guard here. We see no Alarak pick, we see no Li Ming. Obviously, I mean, Li Ming does has weaknesses on Doom of the Spider Queen, we know that. But Alarak could have been an idea here. Why do you think that Hooye Polucky did not go for something towards that road?
What did they last pick? That's the Vala, right?
Vala Auriel.
Vala Auriel.
They had 2 picks before, like after the Murky draft.
Yeah, so yeah, I think they can do fine into the Murky, but I think they were probably just thinking that they just wanted to hard team fight. That couldn't be a thing. And Alarak would probably not have the easiest time into the rest of what's it called, High PEW, as they try to engage on Johanna here once more. She's going low, the shield is already popped. Will she die here? If the blind comes in, it might be. Oh, the Riptire will be enough.
No! Auriel just in time with the heal there. Wow, what a play from Dyla, being like just not on the lane, just behind the walls, healing her twice, giving Johanna that time to really survive. And we actually saw 2 ults coming in there. Voila is a little bit out of position, and she actually gets caught with the mosh pit, and this time not joking around, trying to secure the kill here. But now Johanna is in a lot of trouble herself as well. Octograb actually coming in to secure the kill here. There are 20 gems running around, and now Leoric has to run as he's sitting on 54 gems.
So Leoric nearly has a solo turn-in right now. But also they already turned in for 30 gems, but that won't be necessary. But yeah, really good picks here from High PEW. And again, they forced Johanna to use her Unstoppable, and Merc is just, I'm gonna grab you.
Yeah, and like it's an interesting play that we see here coming in. But I got kind of surprised that actually we saw Vala step in so far outside, although they did not have yet level 10 here. Meanwhile, Johanna is now busy on the top lane, and now level 10s are here, and they look to be ready to fight. We see Reign of Vengeance actually taken, and the Arc is desperately trying to pay as Murky is creating a lot of value on the bot lane. So bot board is actually down, and now they're gonna come through with the payment. Junkrat can no longer avoid it, and there comes the first barrier phase, which will not create any value on the bot lane.
We did see Swamp Brute there, hoping someone would step into the bush with him so he could also grab them, but unfortunately
what plays from High PEW coming in. Bruiser Camp was just started in the perfect timing. It's gonna negate the value on the mid lane as well. And there we see actually the Crystal Age is taken to save the Octo grabbed Sylvanas, and now they try to turn it around. Halcyon 4v1v is actually in a lot of trouble in the tomb, but there's not much damage on him either way. Now Jet, oh wow, the Riptire just aborted here from the Reign of Vengeance from the Vala here, and now it looks like still an easy defense for High PEW against the first wave.
Yeah, so again, just it's so hard for the side of Polucky to engage into this. Really, they have the Junkrat to do disruption, and oh, the knockover over the wall. It's too much Spider Queen. There is this other way around, but oh, Bless Shield coming in here on Halcyon. He's in a lot of trouble, just sliding out instead of sliding on the Wild Q. So the sleep here from Anna is super important after the Bless Shield, but that was looking dangerous from the side of Polucky here. The Wild Q getting thrown over this wall. So this Junkrat here showing that you have to respect his mind really, as once again we see that Johanna is the target really.
Yeah, I mean, they basically don't mind. They just drop the targets low, whichever they can get here, and they go for another payment, and it looks like they're gonna follow through with that. They have the talent advantage here as well. And yeah, I mean, so far, Murky is not really playing that huge role in the team fights, but they don't need to really win the team fights, although they do. Murky's sitting, by the way, on 28 gems. That's a lot of gems on a low health target.
He is getting them in now, so turn-in secured here, and a lot of gems off Murky's shoulder. Still sitting on 18 though, and it looks like High PEW.
He's trying to invade there.
Top here.
Murky
sleep.
You know, just casually sliding away, floating away in his safe bubble. It must be still on cooldown, and he actually gets the pufferfish through as well. So that bot camp is gonna push quite a lot through here.
Yeah, we did see on the top lane Sylvanas died, and she actually did pop her ult just the second before she died, so that's not going to be ready for a long time when she's up now, so teamfights can be hard to get into right now if you are on the side of Polucky. I'm going to butcher that name in this entire series.
Oh, Octograb together with the pufferfish on the Leoric, follow-up stun. He actually gets his Wraithlock through, but just for a second before he goes down. And now we see Sylvanas being alone, trying to defend his 5-man push through the bot lane here. And it's looking rough. It's gonna probably cost the keep, as the rest of the team is still busy defending off the map mid-web weaver. And now it's just finally rotating towards the bot lane. Johanna is not yet there, clearing the rest of the wave together with the Vala. Now they come in. We see two annoying steel traps from the Junkrat, but they just run through it like a skier. And now Johanna is way out of position there. We see an Entomb engage onto the Ana, but ETC is basically there to save her, as none of the damage could follow this up. Now we see a stun against the wall from Oriel onto the Greyman, but he's dropping somewhat low, but tries to re-engage on the Sylvanas, but has to back out now. So no kills exchanged, but still a huge push for the side of High PEW.
Definitely. So obviously they didn't get any keeps, and this top 4 is still alive even after all this. And Webweaver is now turned in here, secured by the side of Polucky. Oh, Swamp Brute trying to go for maybe a cheeky kill in the bottom lane, but doesn't manage to find the wild cube completely. But yeah, so these Webweavers, I'm not sure how much value they're gonna get. They're into level 16, and they're pushed out quite far in all lanes. So this might just be to elevate some of the pressure that they are under right now. Getting the wave push out, maybe secure 16 for themselves during this week.
Look at Leoric, just 1v1 by Murky. He does not have any chance against that fish. With the level 4 quest finished, the slow amount is so huge, and the bonus damage that's coming in with every Q that he sits. It's so hard to do for the Leoric to do something. He has to Wraithwalk away immediately once he sees the fish coming in for him, to not be slowed down. There we've seen slight attempt from the ETC. Now they try to get the kill onto the fish, but meanwhile Balsar on the Walla has to be really careful himself. Look what Murky does. That's so amazing played. He clears the wave way behind the teams, so they can't really push through into this fort because they have no wave.
So, yeah, this Murky just creates so much pressure. Like, he's just on the back line. So Leoric, usually someone who wants to be ready to engage and stand up and maybe make an entomb, he just has to stand behind his backline to make sure that Murky just doesn't get this free engage on Ana, on Oriel or Vala. Amazing play here by Swamp Brute, just making so much pressure.
Yeah, and spacing and everything. I mean, look at him. Like, they're now 4 members dealing with a fish who's gonna be dead for what, 5 seconds? Well, he loses 11 gems, but they... Oh, well, they actually caught the egg. Okay, so Johanna was on the egg, they knew where it was placed, and they decided to go for the Murky kill here, and that's gonna be probably needed a lot earlier. Now they finally got this Murky kill.
Oh, the sleep here. Slide going in, but pretty much denied. Oh, the
Entomb off target! Oh, boy!
Oh, that's so sad for Ritzo here, missing that Entomb, but...
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Halcyon, he's happy right now. He's taking to some higher power and thanking them for what just happened, really. But
we've seen an attempt to turn in, but actually none of the teams have enough to turn in for another Webweaver phase. They still try to push it through. Murky is back alive just now. And we see Leoric busy trying to defend the bot lane because there was actually a siege camp coming to clear the keep. So he has to deal with that. And now Murky is regrouping with his team. So they actually have, again, a 5-man together. And we see the Q just spotting out the enemies there. And now they have enough to pay. And they go for another turn-in. They're still missing like one. Johanna trying to create space for the team against the fish, getting really low for it. And now they had to let the payment through, but defend with the Bruiser Camp maybe easily on the mid phase. Kraymane actually creating a lot of value at the top, meanwhile, just pushing it through. And Sylvanas has to use her 16 to get away. Will of the Forsaken.
So, looks like Hooye, Polucky, they are looking for the engagement. They find Junkrat actually. So will the Entomb come in here? It is ready. Silence coming in. It's not even needed. That's Junkrat dead. There's Rat for dinner here. As Hooye, Polucky, they will be able to defend this most likely now in this 5 versus 4 situation.
Yeah, what a nice catch here onto the Junkrat. The stun from Oriel onto Junkrat was clutch there in this situation. And now they only have basically to defend off this bottom wave, which is still coming in. There we see Sylvanas caught out by the Octocrab. What can they do? She's sleeping and she's dying while she's dreaming. What a catch here now on the other side. And this turns it around right away. We have a 4 against 4 situation and they try to deal with it as fast as they can. There's a fish running through the enemy line there. He's actually pulled off his invulnerability sets and now he can get away. But yeah, mid-wave we were still alive, but hardly. So this wave is going to be dealt with in just a second. And yeah, they didn't lose any more buildings with the Webweaver phase coming in. And they are close to another payment themselves. Although they are facing level 20 now, which is immediately used by attempting the boss at the top.
Yeah, and we do see this big tuna Kahuna here with the nano infusion. So I think we're going to see some nano boosted Murkies now as he's running down the wild queue at the moment.
And he's actually the big Tuna Kahuna coming in here. So he's basically surviving a lot more now, and it might be that we might see the nano-boosted fish coming in just now, as he has this quest finished, he has a little bit more health so that he doesn't have to escape right away. So we might see this coming in now. Meanwhile, boss is going through the top lane.
So yeah, obviously the Webweavers come in here, they will help them defend against this boss most likely, but oh, the Junkrat mine nearly into the boss stun. That could have been huge, setting up for a kill on wild queue here. So yeah, but the Webweaver is going down a lot faster than the boss that's going to be pushing into this keep. Bruce trying to do what he can with this Wraithwolf build here. Ult comes out and doesn't really connect on anyone, I think, but this looks like a top keep. Oh, Murky going in. The Aegis on the wrong person. Oh my. And there we go. The Junkrat all just coming into mass, just demolishing Polucky, and are we gonna see a 100% win rate on Murky so far?
It fairly looks like it as they wipe the whole team, and this means game. Dear Lord, what a performance! We see PEW going in through to the grand final with this series, winning with the Butcher, winning with the Murky. What can you do to step down? You gotta. Woo!
And what a final game that was. I can't believe it. The Murky.
And he wasn't even nano boosted.
No,
He wasn't even nano boosted. We see Kraymane obviously doing top damage, but we see Murky doing 40,000 of damage. Almost as much as the Junkrat. What a hero. And actually, we see 0 deaths on the Murky. So I think he died. Well, why do we see 0 death? He actually got.
It definitely died a little bit, but I think Heroes doesn't quite deal with the fractions too well. But obviously less than 1, because I think that's how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought they killed his egg. Isn't that like a full kill against Murky?
I honestly don't know. I haven't casted Murky enough. I don't believe it is.
I didn't either. I'm not used to that.
Wow. So, PEW go through to the grand final of the Mythic Championship. They will have to play against the winner of our lower bracket final that will be happening fairly shortly, which will be obviously between Hooye, Polucky and Xenon, who have battled their way through the quarterfinals to try and make their way into this lower bracket final that we will be happening shortly. But what a game! Like, do you think Hooye PEW will bring out these strategies again in the grand final, or have they got more under their cap?
Well, it's like we said before that game, they can surprise us with anything. And I usually just thought like it's Blank who can surprise with anything, like going with the Butcher, going with the Hammer. And now we see Vamp Groot just casually sliding in with a Murky there. And yeah, I don't know how can you go up against such a team which does have so many strides up their sleeves? They can basically just come up with anything, and you can't be prepared for that. So I guess you have to really focus on your own game in the grand final, then and hope like that you're just gonna outplay anything that comes, because you can't have an answer to anything they have in their set.
Yeah, absolutely. Hooye Polucky have had a little insight into what Hooye PEW are going to bring, but they will have to go through that lower bracket final, and we'll be going to that very shortly with our special guest DNA Galaxy, who's going to be here for analysis of the drafts and the games for both the lower bracket final and the grand final. But we will be there after a short break of some replays from throughout the season. So stay tuned.